Welcome back to Go Ham. Today we are talking about a subject that I actually know nothing about. So this is going to be fun and interesting. Fortunately for all of you, Monica and Alicia are pretty well versed in this. So they know a lot about ChatGPT, and I'm sure they're going to bring it for you. And I'll probably have a lot of questions.
Oh, AI.
Passion.
Yep.
Passionate.
This has,
Not me.
I'll tell you what, let me preface this by saying ChatGPT is our most underpaid employee.
Yep, we say that all the time.
Yep. Like, use it all day, every day. And at this point, I was just talking to Will the other day about it, and he, like, went to put something in his phone to, like, look something up, and I was like, that's ChatGPT, that's not Google. And he's like, what? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I'm using ChatGPT now as a search engine, not just for, like, you know, just, like, things with work. It's, like, literally everything. Like,
Yeah.
I have this size bed. What size mattress do I need? Mm-hmm. Like, things like that are insane.
I know the bare minimum about ChatGPT, to be honest. And I actually
She's just getting her feet wet
I
over
am,
here.
but I am impressed because I did go down 2 rabbit holes recently on ChatGPT. One was I found out my soul contract. I didn't know that it could do that, but it was super interesting. And then I also
Your action
uploaded-
figure, your toy action figure.
Oh God, I didn't do that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, but I did do like what my dog looks like as a human. That
Essential.
was fun.
Essential.
Yeah. But what I did use it for, I put a picture of my house on it and said stone and stucco the front of it just to get an idea of what it would look like, and it did.
Cool.
Cool. So
I
you're
love that.
using it for a lot of, like, personal things, not necessarily business things at
No,
this
I
point.
mean, it has helped me write like letters and emails and stuff like that, but I don't know the commands like that you ask it to do. Like, I don't know a lot of like what you guys have. I feel like you guys know the ins and outs of it. Where me, it was pretty interesting last night. I realized how much it actually knew about me, which terrifies me.
Yeah. Wouldn't say that, like, I think the more information you give it and the more it knows about you, the better your results are.
Well,
And people do use it just as a search engine and are like, oh, like, whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like I just had some recent one-on-ones, and when I told them, like, some responses to ask, they were like, oh, like, I can, like, talk to it? Like,
100%.
yeah.
Well, what was scary for me last night was like I asked about my soul contract because Mia in work was telling me you got to do this. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And I read it, and then I asked, do my kids have soul contracts? And it responded to me and said, Heather, you've mentioned before that you have 5 children. And I'm like, when did I mention that? Like, that's what kind of threw me off. Like, but did I mention it on ChatGPT, or did it, like, pick up on something else? Like, is it listening to you when you're talking to people? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait,
Like, I don't remember me
swear
saying that ever to ChatGPT that I have 5 kids.
I swear at some point there was, like, an update and it forgot, like, everything about me, and I was devastated.
It did. That happened to me
Did
too.
you notice
Yes.
that?
100%.
I was like, what is going on? What are you doing?
Yep. Yep. And I
I
also...
thought we were friends.
Yeah,
I
like,
know. I'm
it
also
was
in
hard.
the what is it? The Pro. Like, I pay for the Pro.
Oh, I
Well,
do
there's
too.
the
I'm in the
deep-
pro.
You have to.
Not a pro.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, like, listen, if you're just getting your feet wet in AI world and ChatGPT, like, the upgrade is worth it tenfold.
Yeah, but then there's the deep research, which is, like, a little too much for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes, and I
All
don't
right,
like.
you guys need to break this
Okay,
down.
so let's go.
I
Let's
don't
get
even
into it.
know what deep research any of this means. Like, let's break it down.
Well, first, let's talk about some reasons why you might not like it. The reason I just mentioned was people treat it like Google, like a search engine, and don't really use it to interact and build off of something that you initially ask
What
it.
exactly is the purpose of ChatGPT? Like, when they created this app, what was the purpose behind it?
Let's ask it.
I'm not, yeah. We actually came up with this episode through ChatGPT.
Yep. Let's
If you're
ask it.
curious. Go ahead, you do
What
that.
is-
Another reason why you might suck is you don't give context or the tone. So providing, like, more information to why you're looking for what you're looking for. If you want a funny tone, if you want a serious tone, if you want, or you could tell it to act like a comedian or some type of famous person. What did it say?
All right. So it says, it was created to make artificial intelligence more accessible, useful, and aligned with human values. Here's a breakdown of why. Number 1, to help people work smarter, not harder. Number 2, to make AI more conversational. Number 3, to democratize powerful technology. 4, to push AI safety and alignment. 5, to inspire innovation. basically it was built to be your thinking partner, but supercharged with all knowledge and speed. You don't have time to sort through yourself. Literally in one sentence, that's what it is. Like, to me, it is when I have to write an email to Alicia to talk to her about the podcast shoot that we did and go over the podcast planning for the next 3 weeks. I can literally go into it and say, draft an email to Alicia. I want to talk about how the podcast shoot went. These are the 3 episodes I think we should shoot next time. And I'm speaking exactly like I'm speaking. These are the 3 episodes I shot next time. We need to find time this week to sit down and discuss a strategy. And
Here's the dates I'm
thinking.
Yeah.
In 1 second, I'm delivered a perfectly curated email that goes over everything that I need delivered in a perfectly organized way. And it takes a million years off of my life. Like, it just, I don't have to spend those 5 minutes the million times that I have to do that throughout the week because I communicate with people nonstop. That alone, like what it does for me in regards to email and communication has saved me so much time.
Basically, they made it so that when they take over the world, we'll be okay with it because we need it.
Yeah,
Listen, I'm counting down the days till I can buy that Tesla robot.
So let's get back. Let's break it down even further. So for people out there that don't even know what AI is, what is it? What's
Artificial
AI?
intelligence.
I know, but what is artificial intelligence? Like a robot? Like
It's artificial intelligence. So I can't even speak. Like, I have no idea how to actually explain
Articulate this.
What is
I
artificial?
think AI can be a lot of different things though. Like that's what I'm just trying to break down a little bit.
Okay, so here's the definition from ChatGPT. It's the ability of a computer or machine to mimic human intelligence, like learning, problem solving, understanding language, recognizing patterns, or even making decisions. So teaching machines to think, learn, and act like humans without being explicitly told what to do every time. And that is pretty much what it is. Like at this point, I feel like it's a huge portion of our business.
Yeah.
We use it all day, every day. So we're going to break down to you guys, to the audience, what we're using it for and how you could kind of get your feet wet in that world if you're not currently using it.
The biggest thing is probably HR. So think of like your job descriptions, interview questions, offer letters. One important thing to remember is a lot of times like it comes up with stuff that's just like way out of my league and I have to like bring it back a notch and just say like take out this part, or another common thing I'll ask it to do is like make it so like a 5th grader can read it if it starts using like too many fancy words.
Yep. Make it sound like me.
Yeah, make it
humanize
sound like me.
My favorite thing about it is the more that you use it, the more it identifies how you talk, how you act. And literally every time that I plug something in and I'll just say like, I'm going to interview Alicia. Here's what I know about her. She's been in the industry 10 years. She specializes in balayage. And she's looking to be a stylist at our Wayne location. Provide me 5 questions that I should ask her. And it'll deliver. And then I'll say, make it sound like me. So it's very like casual and kind of a playful way that I interact. It recognizes that. And it's
You could
amazing.
even niche it down to like if you have core values for your company, you know, make the questions more about these core values and it'll come up with different questions than the original ones.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
I've actually used it before, like for letters and emails and stuff, even just communicating to the kids, like schools, like counselors. If
Yeah.
I had to write them back on something, and I would always say like humanize it because it just sounded way too formal for
Right.
me. Like it didn't sound like me at all.
Yeah.
And it always would give me a better version of something.
Yeah.
Yep.
The second way is culture and leadership communication. So anytime we have any system changes or things like that, we're implementing something new, it's a great way to get all your thoughts out on like one paper and also make sure that you're humanizing it so that your team doesn't get scared.
Yeah. And I also think like it's been such a powerful tool to me in my growth as a leader.
Yeah.
Because basically I could say like, this is something that we want to implement in, May of 2025. Provide me a breakdown of what this communication should look like over the next 30 days. And it'll say, well, let's send out an initial email this Monday. This is what we're going to say. We're going to do a follow-up on this date. And then we're officially going to launch on May 1st. So April 30th, you're going to do this. Like, it's just really powerful to make sure that you're communicating in a 2025 way, because I think that's one of the biggest things that that's the biggest thing with the salon in general. A community of people, when they're together, it's communicating in general, which matters.
Well, on Mondays, we send out our communication letters to the team, the newsletters that basically celebrate our wins for the week. And yesterday, Monica asked me to do it, which I typically don't normally do, but I'm like, sure. So I got all the stats for like all the wins that we were going to celebrate. And I put it in ChatGPT and I said, create a newsletter for my team, make it exciting and engaging, and whatever other demands I had on there. But anyway, it came back with the most fun, upbeat, like cheerleader type newsletter that totally doesn't sound like any of us. And Monica's like, well, you're gonna have to have them redo it, like to humanize it or make it sound like you. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I love this because it just was such like a twist. So I'm like, I'm sending this out because I feel like it's just gonna like spark a
Get
little
people
bit.
to read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
people are gonna be like, what is happening?
Who wrote this
The book?
newsletter?
Yeah.
Like, but it was so funny. Like, I think it actually renamed our newsletter to, they called it the Privé Pulse.
Yeah, it was fun.
There's just like so many funny little quirky things about it that I love.
Yeah. It could be a little too corny sometimes, though. You
Oh,
have
it
to,
was
like,
definitely
you gotta
corny.
slap that
It
ass
was
sometimes.
way too corny,
It
but
was
she
so
loved it.
corny, but I was like, and I
Yeah.
love it. It's celebrating everybody. It's calling out the wins, and it's
Yeah.
doing exactly what I asked it to do.
Yeah.
So.
But back to the leadership thing, there's times where we're in like certain scenarios where I'll be like, according to this book, like a leadership book that I've read, and I'll tell the story of what's going on, and it would be like, okay, this is how you could handle it if you're going by this leadership book. So I think a lot of it doesn't have to necessarily be just like text communication. It could also be just giving you some insight on different ways to handle situations. Because I'll be like, sometimes I'll read and I'll be like, God, I would have never thought to do it that way. You know what I mean? Or verbalize it that way. So definitely insightful for those types of scenarios
That's
too.
interesting. I never realized you
Yeah.
could like, ask it for advice like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
or you could ask it for advice for certain like public figures too, like Alex Hormozy, act as Alex Hormozy and come up with a campaign for this.
No way.
Yeah, you can use like
we
specific
recently
people.
used that for was it an ad we were doing? It was something where we used him or Layla as reference.
Yeah.
Like, act as this person, and I don't know how it does it, but it does it.
Yeah, so books.
Oh, I know what
public
it
figures.
was. It was the way we interact with our new guest. It's like an email or something that they get, and it was basically just we were like thinking about ways to reformulate that email to make it more engaging.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was cool.
So that brings us right into the client communication, which
Yep.
is probably what most people are already using it for.
So we use it for training our front desk. Basically verbiage that we want to be used, and we're able to say like this is the guidelines or the way that we interact with our guests. Help us create verbiage that we can share with our team members so that everybody's kind of on the same page with how they deliver that experience to our clients. Like that's one way that we're using it for that.
Emails, newsletters.
Oh yeah.
Price changing. Also surveys is another big one. So we recently we have several surveys. We have a general survey for post guest visit, just pretty generalized. And then we actually have a survey that's for people who have not returned after 90 days, which really, we asked it to get into the details of like why they wouldn't return. So it hits it hard and heavy for people to feel open about giving feedback. So
The other thing with the client communication is the reviews. This was one of my most like aha moments. I'm sorry if it's on there.
it saves so much time.
That when I embraced ChatGPT to help me with responding to reviews, it literally changed my life. And for our specific company, the way it works now is like unbelievable. That literally, I used to every Monday, that was a part of my admin work, which I love so much. But basically going on to Google or Yelp and seeing all of the reviews that were left for the company, and then as the owner going back and responding. And it just kind of gets repetitive because most of the reviews are great. They kind of say the same thing. So my responses were getting like very repetitive with that. And it was like frustrating because I was spending so much time on making sure that my responses were perfect and they made sense and they were customized to that person. So when I was able to utilize ChatGPT, it would every single time just deliver like the perfect response to that review and
Specific review.
that
One
was super helpful.
piece of advice for like the negative reviews, it's really great when after you speak to your team members and know the context behind the situation, you could copy and paste the bad review into ChatGPT, provide the context, and it would come out with a different response than it would just knowing what their review said. So you're kind of like giving it two sides of the story, and
That's
it's
awesome.
it's you know, it's like apologetic and
Yeah.
empathetic, but yeah, it's also like providing details to
Good point,
somebody
yeah.
who might be reading the review of what actually happened. Yeah.
So one of the other ways we use it is to help us with goal setting. Our company is constantly evolving and growing, and we seem to just have these new positions that create themselves. And when that happens, typically our employees who are very goal driven want to know, like, how am I going to advance? How am I going to be bonused? How am I going to grow? And ChatGPT has been very helpful in that, because we're able to go into ChatGPT and say, you know, this is Emily's position. She's going to be doing this for our company. These are the areas that she's going to be paying attention to. This is what her daily role looks like.
Yeah.
In order to provide a growth plan for her, please provide us with what would make sense for her. And that has been a game changer. It just it does
great.
a lot of the research.
Yeah.
And it just honestly like knows. It knows more than I know when it comes to SEO and these areas, like marketing in general. Like, I know a little bit of it, but I'm not an expert. So having ChatGPT, who really is an expert in almost everything, it's definitely beneficial.
What are like your what are some of like the commands that you give it? Like, what do you like? I feel like there's so many different like.
Yeah.
So if I was like a newer salon owner and I was like going to write an email, and it like, what could I say? Like, what could I say to it after if I didn't like it?
Well, I feel like you have to be you have to know what your end goal is. So to piggyback off of what you were just saying about the KPIs for a new position, we know what our goal is for that position. We want new guests, and we want our guests to keep coming back. So provide KPIs based on this end goal. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know why you're doing what you're doing. You can't just say like, oh, write me a salon newsletter for June. You're going to get the most generic, cheesy newsletter that anyone has ever seen. So I would say, provide me a newsletter for June. These are my promotions. Or come up with promotions for me to increase my retail percentage, and get new guests in. Like, you have to know what your end goal is before you can ask it to do anything.
Do you guys have any fears with this ChatGPT? Like, anything that like scares you with it?
I'm ready to sell my freaking soul. Like,
Same.
Well, hold on. I have a question for you on this. Do you guys ever put any like really important like business information in your
No.
ChatGPT? Because I'm asking, like, because once you put it in there, it's out in the universe.
I gotta be honest, I am like not a gatekeeper. It's like
that-
not in
well,
my.
that's what I'm saying.
I'll
like,
show you everything from start to finish. I'll give you every detail. I don't give to, like, I just don't care.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, does that scare you that now that it's out, like, once you put it on that level of ChatGPT, like, you don't know who can get their hands on
I mean, anyone
personal
can. You're
information,
probably right.
stuff like that. Like,
But I
I mean,
don't
I'm
go
not
as
putting my
far-
social security number.
Yeah,
in there.
no.
no,
Or, like,
but I'm saying, like,
to maybe like revenue was like the most in-depth thing I've ever put in there, or like retail percentages or things like that.
So, other ways that we're using it for like coaching our team. So we use it for one-on-ones.
I
Basically,
did this recently.
tell me.
So we send out pre-one-on-one forms, basically asking our team members, you know, what's working, what's not working. And some of the things I've put in there, I'll say, act as someone from, or the book, based off the book of Radical Candor, how would I handle this situation? And it's given me, just like prepped me on like how I could look at this scenario differently.
Perspective.
I think a lot of times, like as salon owners, we're like, I'm doing all this, I'm doing that. And it's hard to like see other people's perceptions. And that's just been a great thing for me. I feel like it's calmed me as a leader. Like if you're somebody who's feral, like sometimes that could be, not that I'm feral, but I can be behind closed doors. But yeah, I feel like it's just a great way to be prepared with verbiage for hard conversations.
100%. And I
Yeah.
feel like for me, I use it that way. I use it different, in a different way too. I'll use it with, like I'm about to sit down with Danielle. These are some of her numbers. These are some of her concerns. These are some of her goals. Give me a breakdown of how this next 20 minutes should go. And it'll provide me like kind of like a game plan. Like we're going to start with this. We're going to get in the middle of this. We're going to come up with this. And then you can even add to it like, okay, here's what we talked about. Provide me a summary I can send her for reference. And like, that's a great way to use it, which it just keeps everything, organized and tracked. And it's a time saver really, because I could spend 15 minutes doing that, but that's really helping me kind of just get it done and move on to whatever next I have going on.
Yeah. I've also used it for like coaching to like read books in retail. Like if somebody says like, well, this is what clients tell me, I'll say, okay, like, well, this is the objection. Like, how would you revert that verbally if you were in a scenario like with your client? And it like gives great verbiage for them to use as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. It really is.
Hey, did you actually know that? Well, someone once told me that if the nicer you are to ChatGPT, the better information it'll give you.
Really?
And I actually like started to do that. I'd be like, great job. Or like, thank you so much.
Please.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, since I started doing that, when it comes back with responses, like before it gives me the answer, it's like, let's go, Leash, let's do this.
Yes. It's your cheerleader now.
It's like so encouraging now for
That's
some
awesome.
reason.
So good. When did we start with ChatGPT? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was
It was probably a
captions.
Yeah.
Captions.
It was like a year and a half ago?
No, it was like 2020, wasn't it?
No, it was not.
We were still doing hair. So it was like 2021.
No.
What do you mean?
I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
I don't.
I feel like
wasn't a year and a
ChatGPT. I
half
just
ago.
learned a little bit of ChatGPT probably within the last 2 years.
It was definitely like 2021.
Really?
2022 maybe? Yeah, because it would be like I would ask it to like come up with a caption for a blonde highlight.
All right,
and
well,
it
I
would
was
be
pregnant
like,
for 18 months of that, so.
Go on and ask it. When was the first time
that's a
I
great
ever
idea.
asked you?
Oh, that is good. I love that.
When was the first time we ever met? Our first conversation started on March 25th, 2023.
Wow.
Oh, no, that's not right.
Mine was August 5th, 2023.
It says you asked me how to find your CAC to LTV for your salon. I'm telling you, that's when it got updated.
Mine's May 2024, which that's not
not
right.
right.
Yeah.
Mine's August 5th, 2023. That's when your account was created.
We've been
So
building
ask when your account was created.
We've been building empires together ever since.
Yeah. I guess one of the big things that we use it for daily is like social media marketing, since we're pure experts at this point. Luke,
Yeah.
don't laugh. But
Now, Luke, you can laugh.
basically it has been a huge help for us. I feel like even just for me figuring out the digital world and marketing in general, it's been like almost like a sideline coach to kind of help navigate that. And I use it for like content strategy, ideas, when hashtags were relevant, which apparently they're not anymore. I was using it for that.
It's great for repurposing too. So if you had a post that was successful or you're like running out of ideas, a lot of times I'll put in like a post that I've done in the past and just say like transform this into like a camera or face to camera script or a carousel or a text overlay.
Yep.
So those are some great ways to like switch up content creation if you're struggling to find like stuff to talk about or do on social media too.
Exactly. I use it a lot for like when we're running digital ads or marketing emails and things like that. I'll often say like provide a really exciting, engaging subject, because that matters. You know, like what they see when they get that email, if it's book now,
Right.
they're not going to click it. But if it says we have something inside really exciting for you, then they're like, oh shit, I'm definitely clicking it. You know, like it matters, and
Yeah,
it's
that
able
definitely
to
matters.
help with that.
Something I want to add about the social media thing though is you could ask it to develop specific captions for certain platforms too. So you could ask it to create a TikTok caption. You could ask it to create a YouTube caption, because that definitely matters too.
Yeah. The other thing that I don't think we mentioned is training. Did we talk about that? Like it helped us with our LMS system when we
Yeah.
were putting in, we were creating training for new hires, or if we were getting a new color line, or we had a new brand that we're working with. Like, it really makes it simple to make sure that you're providing the education to your team. Like, we're able to kind of just basically throw into ChatGPT, like, hey, we're working with this new brand. Provide us a 10-slide breakdown of something that we can create to present this to them.
Which is great. But sometimes you have to be careful with that because some of the information's dated. Like, if there's, like, I know when we were doing treatment education for one of the brands that we work with, a lot of some of the stuff was like dated, so it had been like products that were discontinued. So you really have to like make sure you're doing your due diligence and reading everything that you're putting out there too.
Well, I just typed in because basically I feel like everything that it just spit out at me we are already doing, but I wanted to provide some information for like business salon owners or stylists out there that are listening and they want to know more about what ChatGPT can offer them as a salon owner or a hairstylist. And the first thing it says is business strategy and operations. It basically says they can be your virtual business partner, educator, and creative assistant. It can give you pricing structures, profitability analysis, staff handbooks, contracts for booth rentals or employee agreements, salon culture building ideas and team engagement strategies, scripts or tough conversations like for lateness, underperformance, policy enforcement. It also can provide marketing and social media content. So Instagram post ideas, email marketing, website, copy, service descriptions, about page, mission statements. It can give you seasonal promotion ideas, client loyalty programs and referral campaigns.
It did that for too.
Yeah. It also provides client communication. So responses to negative reviews, we already went there. Appointment reminders, cancellation policy wording, welcome messages for new clients. Then it gets into education and growth. It can do training outlines for new stylists, like blow dry classes, extension consults, retail selling. It can help with monthly team meeting topics, service menu building and verbiage that helps stylists talk about their offerings clearly. Helps create salon manuals or salon playbooks, stylist playbooks. It can give you personal growth and mindset. I'm not getting into all that. I mean, they can look into that themselves. Salon industry insights and trends. So current hot topics in salons. In the salon world, it can give you cultural issues, independent suites, luxury service trends. Market research summaries, what's happening in hair care, retail, buying behavior, and then the bonus creative extras, which I thought this is kind of cool. Fun team building activities and icebreakers, cute salon quotes and social media friendly saying, client appreciation letter templates, and vision board exercise guides for owners or stylists.
That's cool.
It's cool how hers delivered something very different than ours. And I think it's
because it knows us.
Oh, yeah. It
It's like,
knows.
oh, these bitches are asking me more shit.
It knows in depth what we use it for, what we're leaning into it for. But for you, who's somebody who's not using it quite as aggressively as we are, it that's great. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah. So for like a salon owner or stylist out there that's just like me, like, well, what can I get from ChatGPT? Like, that's going to benefit my business. It just provided a huge list. And then at the end it said like it can go deeper if I wanted it to, but I didn't get into all that.
Okay, cool.
Also, like, AI doesn't have to be something that where you have to like start completely fresh too. Like, you could just enhance some of the systems that you already have in place. So like when you said handbook, if you already have a handbook, you could upload the document into ChatGPT and just say like, hey, add these things or...
I'm famous for putting like stuff in and saying, make it better.
Yeah.
And then it always makes it more refined and polished and
Organized.
Like it
organizes
better
your thoughts,
language.
Yep. Something that I want to mention is like, since we're in this AI conversation, I feel like ChatGPT is just getting, like, we're just getting started. You know, like, this is the beginning of what's to come. And I recently had one of our reps in, and we were just messing around, and I was like, I can't wait till I can just hire a Tesla robot, or not hire, so I can buy a Tesla robot to unpack all of our, inventory and fold towels and do laundry. And he's like,
Yeah.
wait, are you being serious? And I'm like, I'm dead fucking serious.
Okay.
Like, yes, like that is
I've looked into them for my
100%.
house. They're
Oh
like
my God.
35 grand. They're not even like
That's
that
cheap. No, I'm
crazy.
just
kidding.
For everything they give, they cook,
I know.
they clean, they'll even watch your kids.
So like I dead serious think this is just the beginning of where we're going to be. Like
Yeah.
5, 7, 10 years from now, things are going to be very different with AI.
It's
And
crazy.
I think a lot of people are scared of it, that I'm not getting involved with that. I don't want anything to do with it.
No,
I
you
hate
gotta
it. It feels
learn it and
immoral
embrace
in
it.
some ways. And I think like you can do that. You could, draw the line in the sand and dig your feet in, but it's coming with or without you. So in my opinion, you need to embrace it.
I think one of the biggest fears that people have is that it's going to start taking jobs from people. And
I
it
mean,
probably will. And it
some-
already has.
Some basic jobs.
I
you know
mean,
what I
it
mean?
already has. You see it in the supermarkets. Like, it's
The
they have the guy,
self-checkout, the cleaner.
yeah, the thing that rolls around and just
Yeah.
cleans the floors. And
Yeah.
there's definitely things that
Yeah.
are already taking place.
And I
Yeah.
think it's definitely like what we'll be using it for in the future is probably phone service. Mm-hmm. Like when somebody calls. I mean, I know a lot of people are scheduling online, but I think that's the direction we're going, that when they call, they're going to be speaking to an AI robot and they're going to be so well trained and versed in our language and our software that they're going to be able to do all of the scheduling. And you probably aren't even going to know you're not talking to a human.
All right, what are your personal opinions on thinking that there might one day possibly be an AI hairstylist?
Never.
I mean, it might
Maybe
be
for,
a
like,
thing.
I think that they'll be able to
clientele.
do.
Yeah.
Maybe for like a basic clientele that doesn't care, like just wants their hair trimmed or
Well, that's what I was
Things
going to
like
say. Like, I
that.
think it definitely, there's capabilities of doing the hair, coloring hair, formulating, doing all that. I think it will definitely do that. But what it's not going to provide is like the personal interaction.
Yeah.
And also the
absolutely.
artist.
Yeah.
Like we're artists. Like it's
Yeah.
not like, you're never going to have a robot that someone's paying
Yeah.
$5 million for a piece of art that they created. It's not going to happen. But what we do is we create customized looks based off of individuals and formulation. That is so complex. I
Yeah.
just don't see it happening.
I just get targeted every once in a while for certain AI things that
Yeah.
are taking over the beauty industry, and it's
like what eyelashes.
yeah,
and-
Yeah.
I saw that. But like I think eventually, they're probably going to have somewhere you just sit in a chair, pick out a picture of what you want your haircut to look like, and it's going to evaluate it and cut it and do it.
I can't wait to monetize the redos.
I
Come on over.
That
I'll be running targeted ads for
I
anybody
think
who had that
eventually,
service.
listen, if they have robots that can babysit your kids and cook them dinner, there's definitely going to be robots out there that can cut your hair and color your hair. But they're not going to get the same feel that
Yeah.
you get from an
It'll
actual
be
stylist.
different.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
It'll be
All right,
different.
cool. Well, listen, if you found value in today's episode on ChatGPT and all things AI in our industry, give us a like, give us a follow. And if you want to reach out to us, hit up our website, gohampod.com, and connect with us there. We do have a freebie that will provide our top 5 prompts that we use every day in the salon to help us maximize our potential and growth and all of that fun stuff. So if you want access to that, head over to the website and we'll be able to hook you up with that. All right, catch you on the next one.